And since I can see your apartment, Alex, I'm assuming that's a no-go on that Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
I watched it.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Did you pay the $3?
Unfortunately.
I was gonna send you the $3, but you never responded to me.
Responded.
I texted and asked if you watched it or something. I made mention of it, and you didn't respond to it. So I was like, oh, because I was ready to send that $2.99 happily. In fact, I was gonna do an even $3 just for the extra penny.
No need.
Welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I'm your host this week, Opie, and I'm joined as always by Kevin.
Hey.
Alex.
Hi.
And David.
Hello.
Pete is off again this week working on his secret project, which he doesn't tell anybody about, or at least none of us are asking him about it. But either way, we don't know what's going on with Pete. Otherwise, he is still posting our show and doing what he does best for our little podcast. So this week, if you're new to the show, which God bless you if you are, we are a pop culture centered podcast that primarily talks about television and movies. And right now we are all going through our own separate franchises of movies that we have selected or were selected by a spin of a wheel. And each week we will review 1, 2, 3, however many movies are in the franchise that we're watching that we had gotten through that week. I am starting on the Hunger Games, but I have not watched one. I just finished up the Terminator. So if you like those movies, go back and listen to the last few episodes to hear my riveting reviews. But Kevin watched a show or a movie in his series, and he's almost done. I'm more excited about Alex's because he's watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and he got to a good one. And also, David, I'm actually quite curious to hear your thoughts on Karate Kid 3. Now, Kevin, you're halfway through the final Pirates of the Caribbean, correct?
I am, yes. Yes.
So, but you did but you also watched, was it Dead Men Tell No Tales, or is that the one you're in right now? I think that's one you're in right now.
Yes, and then the one is the one before that is
On Stranger Tides.
On Stranger Tides, which has absolutely nothing to do with the movie at all.
So we'll be talking about that. I didn't watch Hunger Games, so I will not be commenting this week. We will also be going over something we missed last week. Was Kevin has a list of reboots that are in the works of television and movie. So I'm very interested in hearing that. And again, if there's time, we may talk about the DC trailer or the Snyder Cut trailer that came out this week for his version of Justice League, which to be fair, it could not be worse than any of the other two cuts so far. So, well, yeah, it couldn't be worse. But before we get to all that, is there anything throughout the week outside of WandaVision? I haven't seen it yet, which I guess you guys might talk about at the end of the show when I take off. But besides WandaVision, anything that you've seen that is interesting of note you recommend to stay away from?
Yeah.
What's that, Alex? Do tell.
I watched a couple things that are worth mentioning. As I sort of revealed last week, I started and finished season 1 of Gotham before the last show that we had. And now I've made my way through the rest of it.
The entire series?
All 5 seasons.
Damn.
Wow.
I was on a roll. So I just was like, fuck it. I'm getting this done. It was all I did for like 3 days straight. Like I didn't even play games or anything or breathe or eat.
Wow.
Like I just like sat there and absorbed Gotham.
It was good, huh? It was that good?
Well,
so I just kept thinking to myself, I've gone this far, so I might as well keep going.
That was part of it. That was part of it.
Were you just going through it like you're just trying to pass the stone? You're like, I just gotta get through it.
At some points in the show, yes, it felt like that.
You can't purge, right? It's just binge, but no purge.
Yeah.
You might have thrown up at the end, but.
Well, what I have to say is that overall, it is an enjoyable show. If you're a fan of Batman mythos, it's a really cool extension to that because it's pre-Batman stuff we don't really hear about too often, and I think that they do a pretty decent job at giving characters backstories that never really had them before. Season 1 was really solid, and I think probably the best season of all 5 of them. But it was also the most grounded. I think I mentioned last week, and Kevin agreed that it was like a cop procedural, but in Gotham, and it was very much like dealing with the Falcones and Don Maroney, and it felt like a mob police show essentially. Like it
probably had the most thought. I thought out the most.
Yeah, I think so, and it felt good. Like it was a really good show. It was a solid police procedural. It had the Gotham kind of wackiness to it, but not too much. Like it was just like it's in Gotham, so you can forgive like little weird things. But the further it went along, the wackier it got, and it wasn't always bad. There was some stuff that was really good, and some stuff that wasn't so good. But what I will say is that it's definitely the strongest of the DC TV show offerings, above Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, all those other shows. New one.
But this one was on Fox and not on CW.
Yeah, this one was on Fox, so it had a bit of a different platform for sure.
Yeah.
And they definitely took advantage of that. That show, Gotham, is so violent. It's like insane. I don't even know how they put it on just like network TV. It's crazy some of the shit they do. Like there was a scene, I won't give you any context, but it was just...
You can spoil the whole fucking series.
Well, he's becoming Batman near the end. Like that's pretty much what the whole show's building up towards.
Well, how many years passed throughout the seasons?
It jumps around quite a bit. So there's 5 seasons, and there are big time skips from time to time.
Okay.
So I think we'll center on Bruce for a second. Bruce is, I want to say he's 12 when the show starts, and that's when his parents get murdered. And by the time the show is ending, he's 17 or 18. But then there's also another time skip of 10 years. And then that's when he does the whole Batman thing. But it's a good show. Like I would say it's a good show. It's definitely the best DC show. It's not a great show. It has some really great moments, but also just some shit like they have to keep everyone alive because they're all Batman villains. Yeah. And there are so many times in this show where I'm like, you should be dead. And like there are moments where people actually do die and then they get brought back to life in very classic comic book nonsensical ways. And it's just, it kind of takes a lot of the suspense and like interest away because no one ever dies even when they totally should.
Yeah, like did any in any of the episodes you saw, was there ever like a character that just appeared on a freeway and got smashed by a car but like walked away from it? Like in Terminator?
No, nothing like that. Oh, but what I was going to say before when I was talking about how violent the show was, there was a scene where basically the show's version of the Mad Hatter, they don't necessarily always say the people's names, but you know it's them if you know what Batman is. So basically the guy who is essentially the Mad Hatter has this like couple hypnotized, and they're standing in the middle of the street underneath like a wrecking ball. And it's like this quiz sort of thing that he's like testing Jim Gordon, and like Gordon fails and the ball just drops on this couple and smashes them. And you think like typical TV shit, the ball is going to fall right before it hits. It's going to cut to Jim Gordon's face going like, oh, yeah. Nope. It just shows the ball literally smash these people and their body parts fly everywhere. And it's gruesome. And I was just like, how did they put this on TV, dude? It's fucking crazy. Like it is really shocking at times, but I did like the show. It had a solid ending. I think that it bookended nicely, like a really strong beginning and a good ending. The middle got a little funky at times, but the main thing that kept me going were all the actors. They were all fucking phenomenal at the roles.
Yeah, I remember seeing previews or like clips or something of some of the characters where I'm like, oh, that must be the Joker, that must be that kind of thing. And it's like the acting didn't seem cheesy. I just wasn't into it to begin with, and I'm not a big fan of Fox's programming. It was same as with CW. If it's on CW, I know I'm not going to like it. And so it never really interests me. And so, but I did think that the characters, at least who they're portraying, I at least the ones I remember, didn't seem like they overdid it. Like they still kept them somewhat grounded to like in reality, whereas like
pretty much.
So
I mean, as much as you can. I mean, now that I've finished it, I've watched a bunch of behind the scenes and interviews and all this other kind of stuff, and even the creators admitted like, oh, season 1 was kind of like the taste test. Like we just wanted to kind of get our foot in the door, and then we always knew we were going to get kind of wacky because we're building to the Batman universe, which is in itself pretty wacky when you really think about it. So like we always knew we were kind of going to head that way, and I was like, that makes sense. Like, and it didn't always hit right for me, and there were some arcs that were just really stupid, and but a lot of the overall story beats, like Bruce's quest to figure out like what happened to his parents. Was it just a random mugging, or was there something more sinister behind it? And that whole thing, and him and Alfred, like their relationship was incredible. Like the actors who did both of them were fucking amazing. And I could watch a show just about them, like for 10 seasons. It was so good. Like a lot of the actors were very good.
The only one I knew was Gordon. Ben, what's his name? Ben something?
Ben McKenzie.
Yeah, Ben McKenzie. I didn't. I know he was on. What is that?
Southland.
The real OC.
The OC.
OC. Yeah, when he's on OC.
OC and then Southland.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw him in Southland. Southland was a good show, I thought.
Southland was super good. That was like the grittiest. Like I felt like the most real cop show I've ever seen.
That was actually Fox too.
There you go.
And then it was TNT at the end because Fox dropped it.
I know. Yeah, and then Regina King, she was good in that. I thought that was a good show.
Yeah, the show was super good.
Overall, it was good. I liked it.
What was the worst season?
Probably 3 or 4. I can't really decide between those two. 1 was great. 2 was still really good. It started getting a little wacky and cheesy and really kind of spiraled out of control in seasons 3 and 4. I can't really recall. To be honest.
Was 2 the Court of Owls?
2 was yes, I believe it was the Court of Owls. Yeah, it was I
think that was the last one I watched.
They were revealed, I think, at the end of season 1, if I'm not mistaken, and then they dive into them in season 2. It's all literally a blur because I watched it all like back to back, so I can't even remember what happened when. But it was one of the earlier seasons for sure. And yeah, Court of Owls is still somewhat of a grounded concept compared to some of the other shit in the Batman universe. So that's why it wasn't too crazy yet. But the last season was good. The finale was satisfying, which a lot of shows can't say. So that was nice. And
it was an ending, right? It wasn't.
It was an ending.
Canceled. Yeah.
Nope, it was an actual ending. I feel like they had a few too many episodes in the last season, because in the last season, it's the whole landscape of the show has changed. Like it's a very Dark Knight Rises thing where like all the bridges around Gotham have been destroyed. So no one can get to them and they can't get to anyone because like the military has essentially quarantined them off. So it's like a no man's land kind of thing. But then in the middle of that, they still had some random cop procedural episodes. And I'm like, why are you worrying about this kind of stuff when like literally you're trying to survive every single day of your life? So it felt a little disjointed, but the actual ending was pretty solid and I liked it. It was good. Definitely the best DC show on TV anyway. So.
Well, there you go.
Have you watched Titans or any of those ones? The ones that just made it on HBO Max?
No, I haven't yet. Because those are all part of the DC app originally.
Well, now they're HBO Max.
I'll have to maybe check some of those out.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Titans.
I've heard good things about that and Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah.
And then this is the only other thing I watched, and I'll be quick on this one. For Lunar New Year, Sam and I watched the Mulan remake on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I watched that
so you said you watched that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Has anyone else seen it?
Nope.
Okay.
Is it free now on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's free now. Yeah, I would never have paid for it.
I figured you're going that direction. You don't usually have a lot to say when you hate it, which I expect. You might as well just do your nightmare right now too, because I know how that's going to go.
Mulan honestly was not good, but it was better than a lot of the other remakes that they've done, and felt.
That's not saying much, though.
I know that, but they at least tried to do something with it beyond just basically a shot-for-shot remake of the animated film.
Yeah.
Like they really strayed away from the story in some elements. They kept like the basics in there, but they definitely gave it a little bit more freedom to be its own story, as opposed to, Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King, all these movies that are just like, well, I'll just watch the cartoon. It's the same shit. Yeah. But this one does have some elements that are unique, which I appreciated. They don't all land. In fact, very few of them do. But it's not horrible. Yeah. It's like an okay movie. I'd probably put it as like.
What would you say is the best remake so far? Live action remake.
Probably that one. Although I haven't seen Cinderella, and Sam says that's the best one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
But I haven't liked any of the others. Aladdin was garbage. Beauty and the Beast was stupid. I didn't even bother with Lion King.
What isn't bad, and I don't know if it's considered a remake, is Maleficent.
I didn't count that because it's not like a retelling of a story.
It's not a remake, it's a retelling of that character.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a side quest essentially.
I mean, the second one was a little much, but the first one I thought was cool.
I've heard that. I haven't watched that one either, but I don't count that in the remake category. Just the ones that share the same titles as the cartoons basically is what I'm counting. And I'd say this is probably the best one, although that's just kind of by default because I haven't really liked any of them or thought that they were that good. And I just appreciate it for trying to do something different.
I'm curious about the Little Mermaid one, only because I'm curious at what direction they go with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, just like the DC universe, I'm not expecting much. I mean, I like Melissa McCarthy.
That's right. She's Ursula.
And so, but I mean, that can easily be fucked up.
Oh yeah. So I mean, we've seen Aquaman, so you know how underwater movies go.
It's like they just basically they do with the fish what they did with cats.
Oh god. but they just make it like actual fishes but human faces on them.
They might as well fucking do. They should seriously. They might as well at this point say fuck it, just film like fish in the ocean and like try to get like scenarios that like will work, and then just have like the robot chicken guys just put eyes and mouths on it and just do the same.
Just some claymation shit.
Like fuck it. I mean, we're not gonna do a good job on this. Might as well not even try. Do a South Park version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I made a deal early on to not watch a single one of them, and I have not broken that. I have not seen a single one of these live action.
You don't need to.
Bravo!
You really don't need to.
I was like, this is just a classic money grab. I'm not going to participate, and sadly, they just keep getting made.
I have two daughters under 13, so
you can't really execute that plan too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mulan is fine.
I have Grandma take her. That's how that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it sounds like a movie Grandma wants to see. Kid.
It's tolerable. It's not as horrible as I thought it would be, which is nice, but it's also not very good.
And I'm to understand there's no singing.
There's no singing, which doesn't really bother me, to be totally honest. The songs in Mulan are good, but honestly, when they do them in the live action movies, like when Will Smith broke into song in Aladdin, I was like, this feels weird.
Yeah,
like this doesn't feel right to me for some reason. So same with Beauty and the Beast and all the other ones. Like the singing always kind of puts me off, even though I know the songs are coming and know the songs themselves. But I don't know.
Well, Milan's tough too. I don't know how you replace Lea Salonga. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
so
but
it'd be hard.
They did have the melodies of a bunch of the songs in the background of the movie, but sort of done in a more traditional Chinese way, which I actually thought was really cool. Like you'd hear the melody of reflections during certain scenes or whatever. I was like,
tell me Harvey Firestein's in it, or I'm not watching it.
Tell you who?
Harvey Firestein. He played like the guy with the really raspy voice.
Oh no,
he's the most annoying character of that whole movie.
He's the one from Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum's friend.
The only thing I've ever liked him in was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Birdcage?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I thought it was funny there. I think that's the first time.
No. I was getting them mixed up.
Yeah, as I said, I think he's in Birdcage. Yeah.
But I thought that's the first time I ever saw him, I believe, and so I was like, oh, he looks, he's a funny guy. And then these other things, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
He was not in it. They still had all those characters essentially.
Oh, okay.
Like her soldier buddies, and they had similar personalities, but not as caricatured as they were in the cartoon.
Yeah,
they were just kind of regular people, but one was kind of timid, one was kind of fat, and one was kind of normal. So it's just.
Is it in English or subtitled?
It's English. It's all English.
Yeah.
See, they should have done it. They should have done it subtitled. Just make kids read.
That would have been ballsy, but people would have complained so much.
Or at least have a version of it. Shoot the same movie side by side. Do one.
Everyone in it, to the credit of the creators, is actually Chinese, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool.
So, cool.
Yeah, it was acting.
It's
was
worth
fine.
a watch. It's worth a watch.
I don't know if I'd go that far. No, it's not horrible. It's not good, but it's not horrible. Like it's watchable. I don't know if it's worth a watch. That's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to upset either side. That's it's.
I don't
there's
care
worse
about that.
things. There are worse things.
There are definitely worse things.
No, you just sound like a politician. It's hilarious.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm not saying I like it.
I'm not saying you should see it, but I'm not saying you should, not.
Yeah. Stay as neutral as possible during.
I mean,
that's how I felt about the movie. I felt super neutral about it. That's the thing. I was just kind of sitting there watching it, like, all right, like I didn't really get any emotions at all. So that's kind of how my review's going.
How's this then? If you cannot find anything better on Disney Plus, go ahead and Mulan's your backup.
If someone had a gun to your head and they said you have to watch one of the live action remakes, choose Mulan. That's
I'd probably choose fucking any of them at that point. Just spit out the first one that comes to mind so he doesn't shoot my head off.
But you know what I mean.
All right, well, good.
It's a thing.
You're right, that was quick.
After we watched it, Sam and I, the credits were rolling, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I literally out loud was like, "Well, that was a movie that we just saw," and then I just walked out of the room. Like it was that's how I felt about it. Like, so.
All right. Yeah. Well, good. Well, let's see. So I don't know. I think I'm more excited to hear about David's Karate Kid 3.
Wait.
Yeah.
I did watch something this week, so I'll just throw it out there real quick.
No, I wasn't moving along. I was actually going to go to you next.
Oh, fine. Then you finish what you were saying, then, buddy.
Whoa, transition ruined.
I know.
The show has no cohesion.
I know. My bad.
I
didn't read the script tonight. I didn't read the script tonight.
Go ahead, Pete, for the week.
I know, my bad.
Is that going to be a new segment, Pete of the Week?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. We're going to get the dunce cap.
Yeah, I'm just leaving now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing this anymore.
No,
you're going to be hurtful.
Call.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to hear what you saw this week before we get.
No, I only watched really only watched one thing, but on Amazon Prime they have the entire series of Orphan Black, which I had never watched before, and I had always kind of wanted to watch it, and I didn't know entirely what it was about, and so finally kicked it on this week, and I've got through 2 seasons now, and it's pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
And I can see why the girl won the awards that she won.
Yeah, she's in Perry Mason.
She's going to be She-Hulk in the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an interesting casting because she doesn't look big enough.
She-Hulk on Disney Plus, huh?
Yeah, they're doing a She-Hulk series. Because She-Hulk is obviously already straying away from the topic that we were on, but She-Hulk is a lawyer, and she's always green, but she's always a lawyer. So she's very articulate and all that. So, but anyways, Orphan Black, for anybody that hasn't seen it, is a really interesting show. This girl in the very first episode, she's you tell she's like a grifter, kind of on the run kind of thing, and she's at a train station, and this girl in front of her, she sees her take off her jacket, take off her shoes, set down her purse, and you get the feeling that something bad's about to happen. And then this girl that just took off her shoes and jacket goes and looks at the girl that we already know is like the main character, and she looks exactly like her. So they're twins or something. And then this girl walks in front of a train and kills herself. And so it's like it starts off with this what the fuck moment. And then as the show goes on, you come to find out that the main character, her name is Sarah, she's a clone. So it was back in 20 years ago or something. They cloned her, or she was made as a clone, and there's a bunch of them. So it's really impressive to watch this girl play all these different characters, because all the clones are very different.
Okay.
And I mean, it's really easy to forget they're being played by the same person. Like she's
that'd probably be, as an actor, that'd probably be an awesome gig.
Dude, it's cool.
Makes
it's
me think
really
of
cool.
James McAvoy in Split, how he had to play like 1,000 different characters.
Yeah, sort of. Which, so far on screen, I've actually probably seen her play about the same number of characters. I will definitely give him the credit that he kind of had to do it on the fly sometimes, whereas she is playing them in side to side, facing each other, talking to each other. So that comes with its own set of challenges, I think, because you have to act off of essentially no one, right?
Or a stand-in or something, but yeah,
something. But they're not giving you what you're giving when you're playing that character,
right?
But yeah, it's really cool, and it's definitely like you get into conspiracies and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that because there's 5 total seasons, just like Gotham, and the first season was really solid. The second season was good, but you can see where if they're not careful, it's going to go off the rails. So I'm hoping it stays pretty solid. And I never looked up. I assume that this show got to end the way that it wanted to. It's fairly short. There's only 10 episodes a season.
Oh, that's not.
There's
bad.
only 5 seasons. Yeah, so I'm hoping that they end it the way that the creators want to end it, because it's really good. It's really impressive.
Oh,
cool.
So definitely recommend it.
Alrighty. Is that it? That's all you watched?
That's literally all I watched, besides a little more Fringe, and then a couple of Pirates movies, and Letterkenny, because why not?
Hell yeah.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well then, David, anything you watched this week?
I did. I watched a couple of things. I finally finished the series Legion. Anybody watched Legion?
Oh, I watched the beginning of that.
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
It
looks
damn fine, and I've watched now all 3 seasons, and the 3rd season was great. I mean, there's some really, really incredible stuff in there. So.
Is it over, or
it's over? Yeah. 3 was it. It's a total of 27 episodes, so it's not a huge show. No.
What is it? What's Legion?
It is. Technically it's a Marvel show. And the main character, David Haller, is an exceptionally powerful mutant who also happens to be insane. No, he's Xavier's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's the mom?
Charles. You find that out in the 3rd season, so I'm not going to say
okay.
that.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No, it's a
not
really
not
good
to be
show.
creepy, but it's Jubilee.
The mom is Magneto.
That's right. The mom.
Jubilee. There's so many things wrong with that statement, Kevin. Oh my God. Jubilee. I'm like, let's see, what around 8 years old when she got there, or at the ripe age of like 13, I think she peaked.
Yeah.
So Legion was very fine, and then we also watched
Jubilee,
the Nick Cage movie Willy's Wonderland. I don't know.
I haven't even heard of that.
I saw like a thing pop up about that, and the review gave it an okay score. It wasn't like
it's actually got an okay score. It's got like a 68 on the what we like to refer to as the tomatometer.
Tomatometer. The
Tamagotchi. So yeah, it's got a pretty decent score. So we thought we'd watch it. If you watch the trailer, it's pretty obvious that it's a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff starring Nick Cage.
No shit.
And it's a fairly standard.
What's the name of this one?
Willy's Wonderland.
Okay, Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Because I just saw, I think in the trailers, I was flipping through what trailers were there, and that was one of them. But I didn't click on it when I saw Nicolas Cage. I knew what the fuck I was getting into, so I just moved on.
What do you mean, man?
So I was on Vudu, and I was just kind of cycling through on the big screen
there. Yeah.
And so it was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch the trailer. Why not? Because it
and
shows
Nick
the
Cage
poster.
68 is like, that's all right. It's a safe bet.
So I was like, okay, let's watch it. So I watched this trailer, and I call my daughter out, and she's like, oh, we have to watch that tonight. So we sat down and watched it, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it is a really dumb slasher film, but if that's what you're in for, it's fantastic. And the best part is Nick Cage does not say a single word in the entire film.
Oh,
it's like they paid him to show up, but not to speak.
Oh, that's good.
Wow,
it's
that's
fantastic.
worth the price of admission.
Oh yeah. So
that's funny.
Go into it just planning to laugh and make jokes at it and have fun with it. But it's a pretty stupid, terrible, fun film. So we enjoyed it.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, I was just thinking, what we should do sometime, and I'm sure it's actually kind of like a knockoff of whatever that podcast that Alex listened to, but we should pick an actor and actress and or director, or no, actor and actress probably better, and we'll all go watch one of their movies and just report back, but we won't tell each other what movie it is, so possibly we don't watch the same movie, but I thought that, yeah, sorry, just a thought that came to my mind. I didn't want to lose it.
So you could do that.
Producing on the fly.
So okay.
I think part of that should be that we have to try our best to watch a movie with them that we haven't seen before.
That's fair.
If it's possible. We may have seen all of them, but you know what I mean.
I get Linda Hamilton. I'm like, God damn it. It's only
that's good. In the Terminator,
I'm not watching Beauty and the Beast. Mr.
Ron
Destiny.
Jeremy get in there.
She's in Mr. Destiny. I'm sorry, David. I cut you off.
No, that was it. I'm all done. I think we can move on to our franchises.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm very excited to hear that. I'm sorry, Kevin. We're gonna start with you because I think I care less.
That's all right. That's all right. I could also care less. So
You're just gonna do 4 for now, and then save 5 for next week.
Yeah, because I'm only halfway through it. I think time-wise, I'm halfway through it, but I'm pretty sure I fell asleep quarter of the way through it. I don't think it matters.
It doesn't.
But
no, now you got to start back over from the
go from the
fourth one, just so you can understand what's going on. Yeah, because they tie in.
No, not really.
They don't.
Has the same characters.
Sort of. That was actually one of my notes for Pirates 5. After watching like 15 minutes of it, I was like, dude, this is finally, they've gone too far with Jack Sparrow. Like finally in number 5, like
he just gave up. Is the thing.
That's what it feels like.
He fucking gave up.
It feels like it's just
I mean,
I've got a lot of film to go.
We'll talk about it next week, but
yeah. So I honestly, like, I watched the whole thing, watched it in 2 nights
of 4, right?
Of 4, and dude, I don't fucking remember this movie like already. Like I've got notes in front of me and I do not remember it. So it started off in Spain, and my first note was Pirates of Spain. Like it's fucking everybody's there in Spain. I was like, what the fuck is this? And all the Spanish pirates who don't come back until the end, or they're not even the pirates, but they're just the Spaniards, and they look super ultra douchey. Like they're like all like 22-year-old, like just assholes. They just look like total fucking dicks. And then of course, the opening scene has to start off with more pirates being executed because that's what they do in the Pirates of the Caribbean
movies. That's how you start
movies.
a Pirates movie.
Yeah.
Were any of them
Yeah.
children this time, or are they at least all adults?
No children in this one.
Yeah.
But then my next note
0 out of 10.
is what the fuck happened to Barbosa?
He's decaying.
Dude, they fucking like.
No, he's like
turned
an
him
admiral or whatever now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a
and he's
wig and all that.
He's
That
got a
was
wig
rough.
and a fucking empty peg leg with booze in it.
That was rough.
But he showed up, and I was just like, what? Like I couldn't even like hold on to that. And then it had this huge opening chase scene, and I think in the first first probably 40 minutes, there was two like 15-minute action scenes that could have been like 3 minutes each, and they just like took forever. There was like
Was that the one where the horses were dragging the courthouse?
No,
basically
that's
down the
five.
street?
That's 5.
Okay.
I'll get to that one. Don't worry.
4
I
and
don't
5
even-
totally bleed together for me.
Fucking A, dude.
Dude,
So-
I literally I have forgotten so much of 4. It's amazing. Like I
Or was
think
the
I
one
watched
with
it-
like the mermaid chick, right?
And Penelope
Right.
Cruz.
And Penelope
Penelope
Cruz.
Yeah, I actually,
and
as a matter of
Blackbeard.
fact, I think
Penelope, she looked like Captain Jack Sparrow.
And, like,
yeah,
And like
My-
discount Will Turner, whoever that kid
Yeah.
is.
my
Yes.
next note literally was Penelope Cruz. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I was
Yeah.
super stoked about that. Like I have liked her in other things, but fuck, could she just not act in this one? I was just like, dude, she was not good.
No.
And then my next note, because they kept doing the ship scenes, and they all look like community theater. Like all of the backgrounds are like this bluish, like
Just someone moving
background.
some waves.
No, there's not even waves. Like it's just like this bluish.
No. You
background.
can see, if you go back, you can see the dude holding up the thing in the background doing it. That's how little
You
they
can see
paid
the scene
attention.
changes.
Yeah,
And
the
there's-
editor
there's a-
wasn't even paying attention.
And there's a fog machine in every scene. It's like they're trying to cover up their shitty ass backgrounds. And I was like, ugh.
It does
Yeah,
not
like-
look like it was shot on a sound stage. Did you say
No.
that? Who said that?
Yeah, no, it was most assuredly. Oh, it was terrible. So, and anyways, and then at one point, my next note was that this had too much Jack Sparrow in it compared to the other ones. Like the other ones had more interesting characters to fall back on.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my notes about the first one is that what made it so great is that you really like Jack Sparrow, but he's not necessarily the focus of the movie. You've got
He's not
Will
in every
Turner and you've got-
scene.
yeah, and he really is in this one, and it just
Mhm.
doesn't work. And then, like you said, Alex, my next note was, "Who is this not Will Turner dude?"
Yeah. I don't even remember who he is. I remember he's in the movie, but his
He's a
relevance
priest
like
that,
seeped from my brain.
yeah, his whole purpose was to hang out with this mermaid that they trapped,
Yeah.
and then he almost dies, and he stumbles back to her, and she takes him down to the deep, presumably because they're in love or something. But that's the end of their story. Like you don't see any closure to what happens with them. She just takes him down deep into the water. So maybe she's going to eat him. I don't know.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. Like the last thing that happens with them is she grabs him through this hole in an island, which obviously goes to the bottom of the ocean because she just keeps swimming down with him. So that was neat.
Oh, you didn't watch the post-credit scene?
If there was one, then no.
Actually, I don't. I was just fucking around. I don't know if
Yeah,
there's one or not.
Yeah,
I'm going
like
to-
you're not sitting through the
There-
credits on that one.
There
You're
is.
You're waiting for the credits on that one.
I'm not
Mhm.
fucking around this time though. There is one in 5.
Great.
Make
Super
sure you watch
excited
it.
for that. Great.
The best part of the movie.
All right. And then so there's a scene when the boat comes up and they're trying to chase all the mermaids away, and of course this boat that is always out on the water has flamethrowers on the front of it, which I thought was really effective for things on the water. Shooting fire at things that are on the water.
I mean, the boats are still made of wood. It could do some work.
Yeah, and so at this point, I was 50 minutes in. So my note says 50 minutes in, 2 gratuitous action scenes. Barbosa is ruined, and we finally met Blackbeard. The plot is still pointless. Yeah, like they're fucking supposedly looking for, or they're going to be looking for the
Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth. Yeah. which they
That's
ultimately
right.
find, and the Fountain of Youth doesn't give you like eternal life. It just lets you suck the life out of somebody else, so you get however many years they had. So it's like this dark twist on the Fountain of Youth, but it's super lame because then she just kills her own dad, which is just good.
Oh,
Good family fun.
spoilers if you haven't watched Pirates on Stranger Tides. Is that right? On Stranger Tides?
Yeah.
No one cares about spoilers for this film.
I just don't want to be, I don't want, to be that asshole that didn't say spoilers. So spoilers. But if you haven't seen it, don't.
I've seen this movie, and this doesn't even sound
I know, right? I'm like, I don't know what movie I was watching.
For sure. I'm right there.
It almost makes you want to go back and watch it now and be like, really?
Like, did you watch the right movie? I got to verify.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And then I have a note that says, so mermaids are murder whores because they all come up out of the deep at this one point when these dudes are in their dinghy.
Yeah, I remember this.
They like flirt with them and seduce them, and then all of a sudden they like turn into water vampires or some shit.
That's what a mermaid actually is.
Yeah,
like the folklore version of a mermaid is that.
So so Disney finally got something right, motherfucker.
My bad. My bad.
And they weren't scared to go there. Like, hey, we're Disney. I mean, usually we kill the main characters in the beginning of our films, but
we're doing the middle.
Yeah.
And then I had a note that just like every scene is so drawn out. Like they have the two big action scenes. Like every scene is just too long because it's like a 2.5 hour movie, and it probably could have been an hour and 40 minutes, and it would have been a lot better. And then I went back to it. The production quality is so bad. Everything looks like a soundstage, and the lighting sucks. And then
I don't know if you saw the same movie I saw, because I don't know. It all sounds like it was shot on the same soundstage. Like they just kind of rotated, like they do. They have the other set behind it.
Yeah, like in the round. They just fucking rotate.
Yeah,
Pirates in the round. Yeah, and then at some point, this little priest dude who's supposed to be a wheel turner takes off his shirt and he's super jacked. I don't know why I made a note of that. It was just really weird.
You just want to remember it.
Yeah, I was like,
you have like an asterisk next to it, like a favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
No,
right underneath tell the guys about the guy who was super jacked.
No, I was gonna say right underneath it. It says, "Don't say this on the show."
Yeah.
Oh wait, shit.
Why did I write boner? Anyways,
why did I put the timestamp on it?
You actually have a link to the YouTube clip of it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, now thinking about it, give me a minute.
I'm gonna need a minute.
Screen
You
turns
go on
off.
with yours.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was like the gist of the whole fucking movie. Like it was so dumb. And then she just like murders her own father because he stabbed her.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure
dying.
that's what happened. I don't remember that, but I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah. And then
Pirates 4, the forgettable.
Pirates 4 on stupid tides.
You you are pitching a whole movie to me right now. I mean, it's not sounding good, but apparently this movie has already been made and produced.
Yeah, like I would love to see one of those Screen Rant's pitch meetings for this movie. I should find it because it was.
I wonder if they have one for 4.
They probably quit after 3. They're like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, might have.
Like, why do we do this anymore? Obviously, Johnny Depp did.
Oh God. In 4, he still had a little life left in him, but in 5, he's basically just a corpse.
He did, and the problem with 4 is that they just lean all on him. Like all of a sudden, the entire movie's on him. And Barbossa, who they fucking destroyed. Like everything cool about Barbossa, they just like took away.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So he was just lame. And
wait till 5.
Yeah,
he's better in 5. He's still not as cool as he was in 1 through 3, but he's better in 5.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for your full review of 5. Likely next week, since you're already partially in way to the movie.
And then you get to spin again.
Yeah, they get to spin all over again. And I took those ones off, and I did add the Marvel ones.
Did you do the phases?
Yeah, I did like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. And
Oh, you did it
Avengers.
by character. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then Avengers. So you have the So because there's like 3 of each of those, like Avengers.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it. All righty. Well, who would like to go next? Alex, David? I'm excited for
I'll
both.
go.
All right, David, by all means.
So yeah, I had Karate Kid 3, which you'll all be happy to know you can watch for free on Prime with ads.
Ooh.
It was terrible.
The ads were better, I'm sure.
The ads were terrible too. I don't like ads. I've
Uh,
been avoiding ads since the 90s. I was angry to have to do that.
I hope they
I
didn't
think-
edit anything out. If they edited anything
I
out,
don't think they did. I mean,
No.
it's all. I mean, I don't know what they would have edited out.
that
There's-
is actually that is a little worse. You had to watch that with ads. So you had time
I
in
was like,
between to like, oh my god.
oh, it's coming back. It's coming back. Breathe. So just like the second one, they steal a whole bunch of footage from the first movie.
Did they?
To retell?
Because they
Yeah,
know which movie
they-
was good.
Yeah, they do the same thing. So you get like a new retelling of the story. They don't
Okay.
even really focus all that much on the Okinawa stuff. That are just like, who cares?
Hey,
move
with the
on.
Okinawa, he came
Yeah,
back.
they came back, and so you get through all of that, and then once you get through the recap, you find out that like Kreese is broke and he's really sad, and so he goes and you find out that the way he was able to start Cobra Kai is he has this stupid wealthy friend who like is a billionaire and just wants to help out his buddy from Vietnam who saved his life. And so he's going to do anything for him. And you find out that the plot of this film is that because John Kreese is sad, his billionaire friend is going to drop everything that he's doing and spend his every waking moment torturing Danny LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. That is the plot of this film.
That's awesome.
And so
Everyone loves a good revenge story.
yeah. And so they decide to ship Kreese off to Tahiti for a little while so that they can pretend he's dead. And so,
I've seen this movie, and again,
yeah.
that does not sound familiar at all.
This is definitely what happened in this movie. So he drives up, Mr. Silver drives up to the airport. Kreese gets out, and then of course, like Kreese walks in one door, and out the next door to it comes Mr. Miyagi and Daniel, right? Because that's how things work in
At the
real world.
airport?
At the airport, yeah. He gets on a plane just as they're coming out. They like pass, but they don't notice that John Kreese is whatever. And then you find out in a phone call that Daniel's apartment building is being turned into condos. So he no longer has a home, and Mr. Miyagi no longer has a job. His
Well, how much did
mother,
he get from the tournament? How much did he get from the tournament? Oh, nothing? Oh, okay, good. Just want to be clear on that.
just nothing. His mom has moved to Fresno to take care of his uncle who has emphysema. And
Probably
so
from living in Fresno.
probably. And then so Daniel is now going to move in with Mr. Miyagi, who also has no job.
space.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and he
true.
has the space. They just built the room in the second film. So
Yeah.
they decide, or Daniel decides, and it's actually kind of sweet. And this part of the movie is very watchable. The Daniel, Mr. Miyagi stuff is nice. They
Okay.
decide to open a bonsai shop called Mr. Miyagi's Little Trees, and they're going
I
to sell
think, yeah.
bonsais. And right across the street from this place is a pottery shop. And they're like, okay, we can get our pots made over there for our bonsai trees.
Yeah.
Daniel goes over there. Lo and behold, here is the cute love interest. Oh, I also forgot to say that they, just like they did in the second film, wrote off the girlfriend from the previous film with a single line of dialogue. They just went, oh, Kamiko couldn't make it. She got a job in Tokyo with a dance company.
That's right. Was there like a letter or something?
That's what he tells his mom on the phone.
Oh.
That's how we find out about this. So yeah, and it's the second time. They always just write the chick off.
Yeah.
So
He's
this
just
time,
tearing through chicks, man.
He
Yeah.
is.
And
So
that's the moment the actress knew she didn't get the job.
That's right.
In the movie.
In the movie. God damn it. Thought I was coming back for the fourth one.
Yeah,
They
damn.
promised. So he meets the new girl, who is a pottery girl. And you're like, oh, here's the new love interest. But then you find out, she has a boyfriend and they're just going to be friends. So now you get to watch Friend Zoned Daniel LaRusso for the entire film. And now Daniel LaRusso is convinced to not defend his title by Mr. Miyagi because such things are not what karate is about. So he's not going to do it. But he needs to do it in order for the rich guy to torture him. So the rich guy goes out and finds himself some thug to be his, bully and just beat the shit out of Danny LaRusso. He finds some karate kid who is tearing up the circuit with his bad boy ways and brings him to LA and offers him half ownership in 20 dojos in the Valley area.
Well, I mean, if anyone knows the Valley, it's a hotbed for karate.
It is
Right?
a hotbed for karate. There's
Or
going to be
to
a Cobra
quote,
Kai on
yeah.
every corner
To quote Cobra Kai, the Karate Dojo.
at the
Every
karate
time they said that, it drove me crazy.
So this guy, I don't even know what this guy's name was. He was so ridiculous. And all he did was just charge in and break shit and fuck with Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah.
So he beats him up, he intimidates him, just keeps trying to get him to sign this stupid consent form to be in the thing. So one of the last straws is he takes all of Mr. Miyagi's trees. He steals them all. And so now they have no inventory for their little tree store. So Daniel decides that he is going to rappel down a cliffside into the Devil's Cauldron to retrieve an original Okinawan
I remember that.
bonsai
Jesus
tree.
Christ,
I
it's all
remember
coming
this
back.
scene. I don't remember any of this movie.
Oh
And I
my
remember that scene.
god! Oh my god!
This stupid tree is halfway, or is like 20 feet from the bottom of this like dangerous cauldron where seawater rushes in. And
Isn't that what the picture is behind
that's
you?
what the picture
Yeah.
behind me is.
It's so dangerous.
Scene
I can't bring my
is-
date down.
awful. This is so bad on so many levels. It is terrible. The long and short of it is they end up dropping the tree into the fucking ocean. Then they have to rush down to get it. And when they get down there to get the tree, then the bad guys at the top pull the ropes up. And of course the tide's coming in, because you're going to do this when tide's coming in, right? That's the best
It's
time
good
to do
timing.
this. Yeah. And so that's what happens. Now they're stuck at the bottom. And if he doesn't sign, then yada, yada. And basically what happens is the tree gets soaked in salt water, which is, they're very clear, is bad for the roots and may kill the tree.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the top, the bully guy takes the tree and actually snaps like the trunk of the tree in half.
Yeah.
Because
I remember that
he's
too.
a dickhead.
Yeah.
And this whole scene was just such the acting, like Daniel's at the bottom and it's like this life or death situation. And he could not, the acting in that scene was awful.
I
It
can
was
almost
so
see the
bad.
scene like
It
it's
was
playing in my head.
so bad. I was like, oh, well, that's why I chose it for the background for the people who are watching, because it needed to be.
But
shown.
doesn't Mr. Miyagi fix the tree?
Mr.
Yeah,
Miyagi does in fact fix the tree. And what ends up happening is Mr. Miyagi will not train Daniel for the tournament. So Daniel ends up going to the rich guy for help. He positions himself in such a way by always showing up and being helpful and blah, 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 until, Daniel's like, okay, I'll take karate lessons from this guy. Then he shows up and then the guy's clearly teaching him fucking Cobra Kai karate. And somehow Daniel doesn't see it and just goes along with it. And as he does, his whole life just kind of crumbles down. And then he realizes, oh, I fucked up and I've ruined everything. I need to quit this Cobra Kai karate and just quit the tournament altogether. And then when he does, that's when he finds out, lo and behold, this guy who's been nice to him is the evil maniacal villain all along.
What?
At which point, Mr. Me and John Kreese jumps out from behind a cardboard cutout of himself to scare Daniel LaRusso because they think he's dead. And
I remember this scene. Jesus. I
and
feel
then
like
Mr. Miyagi
I'm
comes
in
in.
therapy and having breakthroughs. I'm seeing these scenes in my head and it's not fun. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, then Mr. Miyagi shows up and kicks the shit out of everybody because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he takes on Kreese. He takes on rich guy Johnny Silver. He takes on the bully kid. All three of them. And Mr. Miyagi successful. And then of course, Mr. Miyagi decides to go ahead and train Daniel. And then we get, more karate, more stuff. I have the notes written here. Specifically, cliff scene, super shitty is what the notes say. And training with rich guy, dull, and there's too much of it. Oh, and the music in this movie is flaming shit. I mean, it is so bad. They couldn't afford good music, clearly. So they found some really terrible. They're like, it needs to sound 80s though.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
it's really terrible.
Do they kind of state how far after the first one is this?
This is like the next year.
Next
this
year,
is
right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Defending his title.
Dude, all things considered, though, Daniel LaRusso's had a hell of a year. Hell of a 2 years, I guess. First learning karate, right? And then winning a tournament, what was it, like 9 months or something like that?
Yeah.
After, at the
super
start,
fast.
Against
Best karate guy ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Defending champion, he gets him. Immediately goes to Okinawa like a few weeks later. We gotta assume it was the prom or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucks up the car, goes to Okinawa, beats a kid who grew up in karate with the
a life or death
slap.
fight.
Yeah, a fight to the death. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with a nose honk.
Well, that's because Danny
comes back. His mom's like, sorry, I'm gone.
That's right.
Good thing you built that room for Mr. Miyagi's because you're living there now. And then out of nowhere, some new bully who he just got over his last bully, like 3 months. He gets he gets maybe a 6-month break from being bullied.
No, he doesn't even get that because he was bullied the entire time he was in Okinawa.
Fair. Yeah, Jesus.
He gets a new bully every movie, right? So
yeah.
No, he gets off the airplane and this guy's pushing him, going, "Fucking sign it, motherfucker!" Just like right away.
So for the record, it seems like he can't keep a girl, and a lot of people don't like him.
That's
maybe
that is very true.
No, I have a job. I have to stay. So that's it. I got a job and I gotta stay.
So ultimately, throughout the movie, Daniel wins no fights. He gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah, that one I didn't remember.
Entire time, just every time they beat the fuck out of him. He's useless. He at no point does he show any sign of having been a karate champion. He looks terrible. And then in the last fight, the kid is purposefully getting a point and then kicking him in the balls and losing a point and then getting a point and then slapping him in the face and losing a point. So he just spends the entire time going back and forth, beating the fuck out of Daniel. And then they get to a tie situation. So now it's just, whoever gets the next point wins. So the guy comes in for the point. And of course, Daniel's finally able to summon his balls and move out of the way and get a weak ass punch to like the kidney, and of course wins after having been like thrashed about for 5 minutes.
It's
and
like Rocky, right?
One lucky
like
punch in, and he's 2-time champion Daniel LaRusso, future car auto salesman.
yeah, exactly. That's all of his clout.
Oh, this movie could have been good except for the acting on the bad guys' parts, and the whole bad guy plot line is so ridiculous and so awful. And
but
everyone in it is terrible.
That's the plot of the next season of Cobra Kai.
That's season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah. I wonder if Mr. Miyagi is watching this tournament. It's the next year going, how the fuck has Daniel regressed so much? I mean, we studied in Okinawa. He learned new shit there. Did they forget everything? How many years between movies was this? Is this like 5 years, 6 years, maybe, in terms of the actual movie?
89 was Karate Kid 3, so
89.
Yeah.
So maybe 5 years then, because 84 was Karate Kid, right?
Yeah,
84, 85. So 4 or 5 years, and and
yeah.
But in terms
Ralph
of like
Macchio
1 year, it's
just
like you
completely
should be a
lost
better.
any
You should
role.
be a little bit more. I'd actually be pretty more confident than he is.
That's
Definitely.
the crazy thing, right? Like, I mean, this character has been training at an elite level for 18 months.
Yeah. And
you
when
know,
it's count, he wins.
well,
no.
he can get one punch in after getting his ass whooped for a while. Like, I mean, he's totally useless.
But he still looks like Daniel LaRusso, so it's like he's
Yeah.
got to pick on that.
Yeah. So so that one's done. I have yet to find the Hilary Swank one. I'm in the hunt.
Yeah, you might have to dig. You have to dig for that one. You might have to take a trip to Walmart for that $2 bin. All right. Well, I look forward to it. I never saw the Hilary Swank one. I just know it exists.
I honestly did not think I
see
saw
it, and I
part 3
remember
until you
not
started talking about
hating
that.
Okay.
But I was a kid, so
Yeah. Who knows?
But
You're a stupid little kid. You don't know.
yeah, I didn't know.
It's good. All right, Alex.
Made me feel funny things. So
I'm anxiously waiting because I'm very familiar with the movie you're about to go through because I've seen it many times.
I really hope the description given is another one where you're like, this does not sound like the right movie.
Yeah. This is not one where I'm going to be like, wait, what movie? Because I've seen this multiple times. Okay. By all means, please. I can't wait to hear your synopsis of Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors, which that the song from Dawkins on that is great.
Okay. Well, first things first. After 2, I went into this with severely lowered expectations because 2 was hot garbage. Like a very bad movie in almost every way. That being said, 3 is better, but still garbage in its own right.
That's probably one of the best descriptions I've ever heard.
So, brief synopsis. Freddy is back again somehow. He just keeps dying and coming back inexplicably. He's targeting the rest of the Elm Street kids. So Nancy and her friends from part 1 were some of them. Then in part 2, he just fucked off and fucked with a random family for no reason because that movie makes no sense. And then in part 3, he's back to fucking with the Elm Street kids. So I'm like, all right, that's at least consistency. So I'm okay with that.
Oh, just wait.
And what I will say about 3 is that the plot has the how should I say this? It could have been good because the plot points are solid enough that it could have been way better than it was.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing that kind of gave it any kind of likability is that it did have its
it felt like okay, like when it started, I was like, yeah, it's cheesy and it's 80s and the acting is god awful and I expect all of that. But then they start going into like some of the plot points and I'm like, this actually kind of makes sense with part 1. Again, part 2 is a fucking garbage fire. But like with 1, I was like, oh, it's like a continuity thing. Like Nancy's coming back. She like went to school to study like dream therapy, which makes sense because of what she went through. And there's all these kids from Elm Street who are having like these joined dreams who've been put into this essentially insane asylum where these kids all hang out and dream together about Freddy Krueger. But like the plot, I was like, okay, this is like a thing. Like they're doing something here. I'm actually kind of excited. It slowly devolves into just utter nonsense. But like I will give it credit for having a plot that was potentially could have been a good movie.
Yeah.
That being said, where to start with this one? I don't want to spend too long on this, to be honest.
Oh, but we will.
We'll spend, yeah, whatever you want. The acting was horrifically bad. Every single character is just dog shit. Lawrence Fishburne being in it was actually kind of amusing. Yeah, because in the title, when all the names are going by, one of them says Larry Fishburne, which I guess is what he was going by back then. And I was like, is that Lawrence Fishburne? And then he pops up pretty quickly, and I was like, whoa, it is Lawrence Fishburne.
He changed it to Lawrence after this movie came out. He's like, oh shit, I got to change my name.
No one will ever hire me again if they see me.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm getting that Pee Wee Playhouse money and getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it had sort of like a decent start, I would say. I was actually kind of like feeling it at the beginning. Terrible acting and stupid music and whatever aside, I was like, at least they're trying something here. But then when they start like going into the dream and turning into fucking wizards and doing karate kicks and shit against Freddy, because they it started hurting real bad watching all this stupid shit.
Wait a second.
This power through dream therapy? Is that how they?
No, when they're in their dreams.
They don't even explain it. Like really. So for Nancy, it makes sense because for her, the first movie was, I think, 6 years ago. They say is when the shit happened to her. So between then and now, she's been like practicing her dream karate or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't even know what she would say. But for these kids, they don't even get
gymnastics.
Yeah, dreamnastics. They don't even get to they don't even get to try this until she shows up one day randomly at the clinic, and then they do like a group therapy thing and they go into a dream together. And then they do that like once and then they come back out. And then
that's what's her face? Patricia Arquette. That's her ability. That's what she can do. She can pull people into dreams.
The main chick, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they all go in together. That. Yeah. That's her thing where she pulls them all in. So, but what I'm saying is they all go in once and they don't really do anything while they're in there. They're just kind of running from Freddy and then they get pulled back out. And then like the next time they go in there, they're like running up walls and backflipping off of them and diving out of windows and doing some like Matrix shit. And I was just like, I guess it's easy to do this in a dream. Like, I don't know. I stopped trying to like care about the plot and what makes sense and what doesn't, because really none of it does. It's just a really dumb movie that could have been pretty okay if they would have just not gone off the walls and fucking had these kids doing, like, one of the kids literally turns into a wizard and starts zapping Freddy with lightning bolts inside of the dream because he's like a nerd in real life and he likes D&D and shit like that. It's not called that, but so then he's like, form of a wizard, and he fucking gets a robe and he starts shooting green lightning bolts out of his hand. And I'm like, this is chaos. What is happening? Like,
what about the chick with knives? She's a real badass.
Oh yeah, because that was her dream persona. She said, I want to be whatever it was. I want to be sexy and dangerous. And so she's like in leather with a mohawk and has little switchblades. She has her knife fight with Freddy in the alleyway. I forgot about that. I watched this literally like an hour before we started, and I forgot most of it already because it's just
my favorite character in that one is the black guy. Because he's so
super tough and he's punching through walls and all of this stupid nonsense.
That's probably his only note every time. Act like a tough guy.
It really was,
go with the tough guy.
Say a bunch of bad words, act like you're hella hard, and we'll just whatever works. I have to say, like, the effects in this movie are so bad. And so like, especially compared to the first one.
Name one.
But what I'm saying is the first one had some really great shit. Like when what's her face gets pulled up onto the ceiling and she's like writhing around the room, the face coming through the wall, like all this really cool shit. I mean, it was definitely 80s and you could see through the cracks a bit, but really good for its time. In this one, I can count literally multiple scenes, I think 3 or 4, where I could see like the wires on the actors as they were being like held in the air by Freddy and shit like that. And there's so much claymation in this movie. Like the guy battles a claymation skeleton of Freddy in a junkyard, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like what are his powers? How
it
is
doesn't
his
get any better either?
how does his skeleton come back to life? That's not what he does. Like he's a dream thing, but his skeleton comes back to life and like fist fights a guy in a junkyard, and then just collapses
don't ever
on itself.
Don't ever underestimate the power and will of a pedophile.
I guess
Freddy is, because he is not going lightly.
I guess not, man. It's just, oh god. It's the worst thing about this is that
the worst thing about this is you still have so much more to go.
Well, I know it's going to get worse from here on out, but I my expectations, I don't think they could get lower. So at this point, I'm just going to be numb.
You better try to get them lower. You better try, man. Well,
at least there was some boobs in this one. I will give it that. I was like, well, that makes up for it a little bit.
You know, it's so funny. I
finally got some boobs.
I was in 7th or 8th grade when this came out, and that's when I was watching it. I was at the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
much appreciated on those boobs.
Yeah, they were great. I was like, whoa, well, okay, well, at least that's something
there now. Okay.
Well, it's cliche and kind of stupid, and usually it doesn't make any sense for it to be a thing, but most horror slasher movies have boobs in them. It's just kind of a thing. Like there's a shower kill scene, or teens are doing it, and then the guy comes in and stabs them both through the middle, or you know, it's almost like a trope, but a welcome one, I will admit. So you know, that's good. That's about the only thing about the movie that I actually enjoyed.
That's the most.
I kind of perked up during that scene. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Like, and then it just turned into just chaos again. So I just slumped back down in my chair.
And then thank God, Joey finally, screamed and,
Oh, the mute kid.
Yeah.
And whatever that was about, but I just like what was really kind of. Again, for as bad as the acting and the music and the ADR in this movie, by the way, is horrendous. There's literally a scene where the blonde, I don't remember any of their names. The blonde chick, the main chick, is in a room. It's when she's going crazy when they're trying to sedate her. This is actually at the beginning of the movie when things were still going all right. So I was like, okay, it makes sense that she's freaking out about this. And they're trying to sedate her. And she's in a room and she's kind of like profiled to the camera, like the camera's looking at her from this direction. She's clearly saying words, and all you hear from her is just an ADR blood-curdling scream. It's just her screaming at everyone trying to give her the drugs, and her mouth is just like blah, 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 blah. Like she probably said something like "Don't get away from me" or something like that. But it's just
she's
scream.
Like fully gesturing and like giving directions, or just scream. Ah!
That's what it was. It was, and they forgot to do Freddy's like vocal effects for like half of his lines, because Robert Englund, like it's not his real, it's his voice, but they put a bunch of effects on it for 1 and 2 anyway, and it gets like really low and kind of scary sounding. And then in this one, it was doing that. And then for a few lines, he just sounded like a normal person. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, they just forgot to do it. They just didn't care. They didn't care, is what I can surmise. And it's just, it was going pretty well at the beginning, which is the worst part. Because I was like, maybe this will be okay. Like, I remember even like sitting in my chair thinking like, I think Opie said that this is probably, like, this one's better than 2. Which again is not hard to do, but I was like, maybe it'll be all right. And it was all right for like 20 minutes. And then it just got fucking ridiculous. So it was,
what was missing from, go ahead.
So the big question, do you have the rhyme memorized yet?
They definitely did that way more in this one. Because I remember you guys saying that after the first one, and I was like, they only did it like once or twice.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like every 20 minutes it just pops back up. Like I don't need to hear it again. And then I mean, it's not hard to memorize, but I'm trying not to think about it. So this movie was stupid. I will say that the way that they got rid of Freddy at the end, I was like, oh, that seems like a legitimate way to get rid of him, like to actually bury his bones and then like sprinkle holy water on him or whatever they did. And then like in the dream, he starts like disintegrating because that's like they're putting him to rest and destroying the spirit. And I was like, that makes sense. That's a clever way of getting rid of Freddy. And that would be
that makes sense. That tracks.
In this stupid ass universe, it makes sense. But
of course,
holy water to get rid of a spirit, burying the bones to get rid of the foul deeds of a ghost or whatever. I mean, it's all it tracks in whatever like spooky lore.
I'm with you. Remember, I would willingly watch this movie again.
Okay. I would watch the scene with the boobs in it again, but that's about it. What else was it?
Can I watch 4 with you?
You want to like live stream it together or something like that? We'll just be on FaceTime together and just like but the thing that's disappointing is like that, what I was saying before is that makes, again, in this universe, it makes sense of like that's a legitimate way to get rid of Freddy and his demon spirit. But then he comes back for like 6 more movies. So like obviously it didn't work. So it's
he's
like,
tough,
what the fuck
dude.
does it take? What the fuck does it take? It's just like things need to die eventually. Like it's annoying after a certain point.
Not
like,
in Hollywood.
There's other ways though, man. Like the Predator dies in the first Predator, and then for the second one, it's a different Predator. Same with Alien, and like there are ways of killing things and then still doing a franchise. Like it's possible. I just feel like this guy just needs to go away because he's fucking annoying anyway. He's not fun to watch.
Just now, see. I recommend is Freddy versus Predator. That was technically after New Nightmare, wasn't it?
Freddy versus Jason, you mean?
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, I think that was the most recent one besides the remake, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I would almost say you should probably make New Nightmare your last one. Only because that one is better than anything you're gonna see.
Would you say that's the second best one out of like the main franchise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Easily.
Well,
I mean, it definitely has its flaws. It has a child actor, which so that's really honestly, I have to say that's honestly the weakest part of the movie.
Okay.
So, but
well, I have a few more to go before I get there.
Oh yeah. You just broke through the wall, my friend, in Shawshank, and you still have to go through that pile of shit.
Through the shitters.
Yeah. I was surprised that they spoilers that they killed Nancy. I thought she was going to make it through to the end, but they killed her off. I was like, wow.
Her dad. Yeah.
I didn't care about him, but like that. But like her coming back as a continuity character was nice.
Yeah.
Because that is something, again, that with horror movies, a lot of times, like if you think about Halloween, like Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers are kind of like interlocked together. And
Jason's a loner.
But like Ripley and the aliens and, stuff like that. Like it's always stronger when you have a character kind of return. And that's why the beginning of this movie gave me hope. Not that Nancy is interesting or a good actress, but it was at least nice to have something consistent. But yeah, man,
she's interesting or a good actress.
She's not either of those things for sure.
I'm surprised they didn't get Johnny Depp back. Oh, that's right, he died.
He got swallowed up in the bed.
But didn't she die in the first movie too? At the end, wasn't that the implication? Because
she got
the car
pulled away.
was...
Yeah, she got pulled away in the car.
She was abducted.
You didn't see her die, but like. But the rest of them were dead and her mom was dead. So that again makes the scene at the end of the first one make even less sense. Like
Freddie just wanted to get her out of town so that she could get the skills and come back and give him a real challenge.
Yeah. He's like,
come back in 10 years.
Give me a real threat. Go ahead and go to med school for 6 years and then come back.
Go boat up. I'll be waiting.
Again, it had so much promise, as much as it could have after the second one, which I don't, man. So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, yeah. So on the fourth one, if there's anything I can tell you about that,
I'll be on my phone the whole time.
it's like you the things that you were just talking about that you really disliked about this one, and like the cheesiness of it and the ridiculousness of it. Gonna have to turn that knob to 11 for the fourth. So just that's really all I can say. There's a cool song in that one too. And it's unmistakable. It's during a workout session. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And it's a cool song. At least the song's fun to listen to. It might be. I'm sure something you've heard before. All right. Well, I'm game to still talk about these reboots. I know we've been going on a little bit, but if we do, I need to take a quick break.
Yeah, we can do that. Take a break and
take a break.
Use the poop room.
Take a break. All right, take a break then.
All right then.
Take a break.
Okay.
Okay then.
Patter.
Bit of patter. Let's get it done. Let's get going.
Airball. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is the All Pop No Culture podcast that you've been listening to. I don't know what's so funny, Peter. This is super serious. Can you calm down, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here to tell you, against my will, about other ways that you can talk to us besides not talking to us, because this podcast only allows us to communicate one way. So if you want to communicate the other way, we have a phone number. It's 925-400-8447. So go ahead and call us on that. Can they call on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And leave a voicemail.
And that, because we're not going to answer for sure.
Yeah, but we'll use it on air.
Yeah, for sure. We also have a Gmail account because we're basic as fuck. It's allpopnoculturepod@gmail.com. We also have a website, which is allpopnoculture.com. And we have other things like a Facebook page and an Instagram account and
Twitter.
And a Twitter. And that's it.
YouTube.
And YouTube. Yeah, well, if they're watching this, they have YouTube already, so they know that one. Right?
I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Shh.
That's a good point.
I'm doing this my way, okay? I thought you said you were not going to talk.
I tried.
You're distracting me.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
And if you are watching this, I'm so fucking sorry.
Oh, sorry. You want to get going, Alex? Is that our cue?
Yeah, shit.
Pitter patter.
Subtle.
Let's get going. All right. Well, I guess we're back from break. And we are finally going to get to not the DC trailer, but the list of remakes or reboots that Kevin, you were emailed from the Hollywood Reporter itself directly.
Sort of. So I, over the course of like the last couple of weeks, I started seeing more and more emails come in about shows that are being remade. And at some point, I was just like, "Holy shit!" It's like there's just no original ideas left.
So you collected a list.
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
he actually did some work, unlike
that's where I was.
Just finds a list in the moment.
Yeah.
Possibly, if it's relevant, if I remember to save it.
Yeah. But there's something. I've got something like almost somewhere around 30 shows or movies now that are being remade.
Oh, damn. All right. Well,
within the next couple of years.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's hear
do it up.
All right. So
stop beating around the bush.
I know, right?
Just get to it.
You said bush.
Enough teasing.
So this is reboots, remakes, and unneeded sequels.
Okay, a list of unneeded sequels. I have to
Yes.
already agree with you.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
the
know what
first
they
one,
are, but I agree.
the first one I saw, and it's like I don't understand quite why they're doing it. Is CSI? So they're going to reboot
TV show?
CSI. Yeah. But I was like, part of me is like,
It's not
why
Aren't
just
they
gonna
not?
be
still
like
showing CSI?
Which one? CSI
yeah,
what?
it's not
Yeah.
just going to be like
Just-
another branch. It's going to be
That's
just
the thing.
CSI.
Is they're talking about doing just CSI with new characters and actors, but not like CSI New York or CSI wherever. It's just going to be a new CSI. They're
On
going to reboot it.
CBS?
I assume so.
So they're not going to be
Um,
playing the same characters that they were in the original CSI.
It's not going to be the same actors. From
Not
what
the
I could
actors,
see.
but the characters.
I don't know.
Okay.
It could be a recast of the same characters, which would be even more stupid. I think.
It sounds stupid to begin with. It just
Right.
sounds like it sounds like a cheap marketing scheme.
you're
Like,
gonna
yeah, we'll just call it CSI. That one's done, right? That name's free again. Let's just do that.
we're gonna see a lot of these.
Yeah, I was like, just snip out that little thing you just said about it
And
being
just copy
stupid
and paste it
marketing
over and
scheme,
over.
and yeah, just copy and paste it the rest of the time. I'm sure that's what
Then-
all of these are.
The next one that's at least moderately interesting is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They're
They
Yeah, I
just
saw-
cast
I
that.
saw
but
that.
the cast is an interesting choice.
yeah, it's Donald Glover
Yeah.
and the
Phoebe
girl
Waller-Bridge,
from-
right?
Yeah, Phoebe
Yeah.
Waller-Bridge. That's right.
Huh.
So I don't really see either of them as action stars.
That's
so
the
I'm curious
thing.
if they do-
Neither is actiony.
but it's going to be a series, so it may not have
Donald
to be as
Glover could do
actiony.
it. I mean,
I
he
can
was
see
in,
Donald
he was in
Glover.
Solo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He ran around and shot his gun a few times.
Had sex with a robot.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you,
sex with
you
a
got
robot.
to be pretty athletic to get it on with a robot.
Wasn't that Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Wasn't she the
Yes.
robot?
Yes, she was.
That's fun.
Huh.
Oh,
This is
wow.
their prequel story. This
This
is
is their-
Lando and L3's
It's
prequel
his
story.
origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at
okay.
that.
Yeah.
I like this now. I'm in.
So-
Everyone was just upset that
Well-
they didn't get to see the sex, and now we're going to get to see it.
I'm upset that there's a show being made about the movie or just being related to it, but I am kind of interested to see what they do given the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's how I feel
again,
about
this is one where they could have just made the show and given it a different name, and it probably would have been just fine. But they chose to use the name because it gives them money. I was watching a script writing seminar or class, and somebody was talking about how a
Why
lot of
weren't you
times
listening?
people- it
You
was
said
on
you're
YouTube.
watching this. Oh.
Yeah. And they said that people a lot of times will write a script for their own original idea, and some producer will come along and be like, "Hey, I'm making, X, Y, and Z series, and this will fit in, or we're just going to repurpose your script for our thing." So it's like happened with James Bond.
Mm.
It's happened with a couple of things. So it's interesting. It could have been somebody's original idea, and then somebody said, "Oh, dude, if we put Mr. and Mrs. Smith on this, we'll make way more money." Who knows?
All right. Well,
Makes sense.
So then the next one on the list that is being remade is True Lies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is it a movie or TV show?
I believe it's a movie.
Okay.
I
Are
probably
they getting Arnold back?
They need
he'll
to
do
go
it.
back.
Of
He'll
course
do it.
Yeah. So would Jamie Lee Curtis. I'd almost rather see that than a
Ugh.
remake.
It's actually Tom Arnold who kind of stole that film. He was funny as hell. in
He
that
was funny
movie.
in
That's
that.
true.
He was.
That's true.
But all right. So, what do you know anything about this movie?
I don't.
No
Yeah.
cast or anything yet?
I don't think so. Let me see real quick. I'll pull a Pete here and look that up. But I don't know that it's been cast so much as they have a director. I think is all they have.
They just have a title.
Oh, this
That's
is
how they got
TV
so
series,
far.
so
Oh, it's a
in-
TV series.
maybe it is.
See,
Yeah.
that makes a little more sense. Rebooting as a movie made no sense. But as a TV
yeah.
series, I mean, that's almost Mr. and Mrs. Smith again, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of the same
The
show.
only difference is that the wife, at least initially, doesn't know what's happening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then kind of becomes part of it eventually.
So maybe
But if it's a
is-
series, I mean, she's gonna have to probably become part of it pretty quickly, unless
You'd
like
think
the
so.
whole gag is
Yeah.
that he's always having to do it behind her back.
Yeah.
it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute.
It basically,
It's a 3-cam laugh track
Yeah,
sitcom.
yeah, exactly.
And when it's done, WandaVision will parody it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh man.
There we go. If it
Yeah.
isn't that, it should be.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not. The next, we're getting another season.
Moving on. Let's go.
Yeah. I think we're getting another season of Dexter.
Yeah,
I know.
we talked about that a little
That's
bit.
a why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a why, but also it's hopefully it can stick the landing better this time. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I'll
yeah,
watch it. It's
I'll watch it
quarantine
too.
time.
Me and the wife were trying to go. She's never seen it, so we were going through it, and I think she made it so far as to like episode 2 of season 2 so far.
Mm.
And I'm like, it does not hold up really well. I mean, the acting is
Really?
actually pretty bad. Yeah, in my opinion. I know it gets worse in the later seasons.
Mhm.
Yeah, the first 4 seasons I remember being really good.
They were good, but the style of acting was a little grating on me. But it
I could
just got.
understand that.
But then the story got worse, in the
Yeah.
later seasons.
Oh yeah.
Because they just
so-
ran out of ideas but kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'll be curious to see what they do with this for sure.
Yeah. Next one, they're remaking Bewitched, and they're going to remake it as a series. I haven't seen any casting for it, just that they announced that they're redoing the series.
Finally,
Yeah, because
this is the one I've been waiting for.
the Will Ferrell, what's her name, reboot movie didn't make it, so why not reboot it again?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's because
Every
we're
time
trying
I-
to do a
time.
movie. This is clearly
Yeah.
meant for television. This is a television.
obviously.
idea.
Every time I think of that movie, I think of the clip from Family Guy where Stu is watching in the movie theater, and
Yeah.
it is long scene of him making his way all the way to Hollywood through bus, train, everything. Just he opens the door, he hits him on the head with the newspaper, says, "No, not funny."
It's about right.
But no, that's
then
what I
there-
think of every time. I can't help it. That's the first thing that comes to my mind before the movie itself. I didn't think the movie is all that bad. I mean, I don't think it was good, but I don't think it's as bad as people seem to think it is.
It just, for the same as you can say for this show, is there's no point. Like you did it. Just let
Well,
it be.
They're
I mean-
remaking all those shows. What was the One Day at a Time? That seems to be a hit on Netflix or something.
Yeah, but I think that one ended. I think that one they finished that one.
Oh, did they? That was
I
quick.
think so. But Bewitched is basically WandaVision if you think about it, without the outside influences,
Yeah.
right? So like
Mm.
it just got done. So
WandaVision with free will.
yeah,
There's a new show. A trailer just came out for it with Annie Murphy in it.
Yeah,
from
I
Schitt's
saw
Creek,
that.
and it
That's
looks
very
very
interesting.
WandaVision-y.
Well,
like,
I
where-
want to see that one.
It's not like
Uh,
the same idea, but like they're like part of it is like almost looks like they're in a sitcom with like, and there's a laugh track,
Yeah.
and then there's another part of it where it's like the real.
it's like
world.
it's her consciousness.
It's her, yeah,
versus her reality.
yeah.
That's
And
what it
that-
seems like. It looks
yeah.
interesting.
I didn't mean that it was like WandaVision literally. I just
Yeah.
meant that it had those vibes because it was switching
Yeah.
themes like that.
Yeah.
So, but it looks cool. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing that.
So next on the list of remakes is Conan.
They just did that, didn't they? Do that with Jason Momoa like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, you remember that?
Yeah, Jason
I
Momoa
know it
without his shirt on is always easy to remember.
Funny, it's like the fourth time it's been mentioned today for me.
Yeah.
The Jason Momoa Conan version. We did
Oh my
watch
gosh.
Aquaman last night, so
Why did you do
That's
that?
Yeah.
true.
it was so
understand
much
why you
fun.
Oh god.
We did the drinking game, so we drank the whole time. So every time something happened, like every time someone said "Ocean Lord," we would shout "Ocean Lord" and then drink. It was fun.
I can imagine that. I can imagine that makes it more enjoyable.
I can't even understand how you made it to the credits.
Yeah, just everyone's passed out by the time you get. Like,
Well, that
halfway
was the
through
thing.
movie.
Like, I think we were all really full from having consumed quite a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was there were scenes where it was like 5 or 6 drinks in 3 minutes. Yeah.
Oh boy,
But we've
All right.
we've derailed again.
Yes.
Yeah, we always do.
we're in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Claw your way
Yeah,
out.
yeah, get
Claw
out.
your way out.
So this next one is they're gonna make a live action Jetsons show.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No, like I don't know.
I've always liked Judy, so let's see.
Yeah.
We're living in the
Well,
Jetsons now,
yeah.
like pretty much.
Well, so
Well,
I remember watching the Jetsons as a kid, and I thought there was a lot of episodes, and there was like only a season of the Jetsons. Like there wasn't
Really?
a ton of content. Yeah.
well, I know they had
Um,
some like weird crossover stuff with Flintstones and stuff like that.
Yeah, they
too.
had a couple crossovers there, but there was not very many episodes of the Jetsons, even though like as a kid it felt like there was a lot of content there. So
Is it going to be like a dark, gritty reboot,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
on
hopeless,
FX.
a hopeless future type of thing?
They're robot overlords.
Yeah, I
Uh,
It's on
honestly think
A-
that
yeah.
that could, not the dark, gritty part, but that could potentially work because that
Yeah.
show.
But
as long as it's a comedy, and as long as it's not too ridiculous.
Because I'd rather see them do something like that than something like the Flintstones, where there's like dinosaur cars and shit. Like going into the future and doing flying cars and robot maids and shit is more tolerable, I think, than
they have Rosie looking the exact same.
Yeah.
What are we pitching here, though? Is this Seinfeld, but just set in like super, super?
I think
Who
they're
knows?
pitching the Jetsons.
I mean, think about the Lost in Space reboot that they
Yeah.
did recently on
Mhm.
Netflix. I mean, it's a totally different vibe, but it still works in its own way. So,
Yeah.
well,
But
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
also live action, though, going live action versus animated.
no, I know, but I'm just saying like the tone of the show versus whatever they end up doing with it.
Whatever they do with it, I hope they have Disney involved, because if there's any company that knows how to go from animated to live action, it's
Tell you what.
tell you what. Disney probably called them. I knew the call was coming. We just thought we would. So, all right, what's next that we can't wait to see?
The next 3 reboots, I'm just going to give you all of them at once because they're all reboots, although one of them may be a pickup like 20 or 30 years later or whatever. But
Television or movies?
They're all going to be TV shows.
That's what everything is going to be, is TV shows.
Yeah. I've got Gossip Girl, Punky
Oh.
Brewster, and Clueless.
Oh,
Clueless.
Yeah.
Punky Brewster one I've been actually seeing noise about. So that
Yeah,
one-
it's like
surprising.
her now, though. And
yeah, that one's it's still going to be her.
oh. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
But
And then
Gossip
what
Girl
was
is a
Gossip
new
Girl?
Gossip Girl storylines, I guess, with like new characters.
That doesn't feel like that one's been gone that long.
yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
So it's not going to have the same cast.
Nope.
It's going to be like Beverly Hills 90210, and
Then why watch?
the
Right,
first
exactly.
one at
Never
all in
did.
the first place?
I didn't watch the first time, but
I've never seen it.
Me either.
mm-mm.
And then,
then that-
Clueless, are they getting like the original cast of Clueless, or are they
No, I
starting
think
over
it-
again?
I think it's a
You can't get
new-
Stacey Dash. You can't get her. Good luck.
She still looks exactly the same.
I think she cameo you.
I don't
for,
even
like,
think
a
you could get
Twinkie.
Alicia Silverstone at this point.
Actually, I just recently saw a preview for a movie that is coming out with Stacey Dash in it, where it's about Roe versus Wade, and it takes place during that Supreme Court, and it's very pro-life slanted.
That does not surprise me.
But there's a lot of actors in that you've recognized. If you and Angelina Jolie's dad, what's his name?
John Voight.
Yeah.
John Voight and yeah, God,
They
the
have
guy
like
from
James
LA Law.
Woods in there too.
No, I didn't see him, but who's the guy that was on LA Law and was in Major League? Not Tom.
Corbin
Tom
Burnson?
Berenger.
Corbin Burnson.
Go Corbin. Burnson.
Yeah, they both play Supreme Court justices. But there's a lot of other people where you recognize the actor. It's interesting. I'm like, this
Is Mel Gibson in this one?
No. No.
Dang.
No. It's just very like you're watching the preview, like I feel like there's a specific. Oh, there's Stacey Dash. Yeah, this is definitely right side. This is pro life. All right, sorry,
Well,
derail. Go ahead.
I don't
that's all right,
see
that's
Clueless gaining traction with the new cast.
Yeah.
What network?
That's-
What
that's-
network is it?
I don't have the networks for these. I don't know that they've even necessarily been picked up for networks
It's
yet.
probably like a reboot television version, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah.
Like a
mean,
retelling.
If they,
But
For
it's
lack
like
of a
Saved
better-
by the Bell. I mean,
But
why
they
would
already
it-
did a Clueless TV series.
They
Like
did.
Clueless
They
was
did
a series,
TV
yeah.
show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so like it's a
They're
weird
rebooting
choice.
the TV series that didn't do well.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
They should reboot
Fifth
the
time's
Ferris
a
Bueller's
charm.
Day Off TV series.
Yeah, I know. Remember that gave us Jennifer Aniston. Thank God that bombed. That freed her up for Friends.
Yep. So then Sex and the City is getting another season.
Thank
Oh.
God.
Same cast.
Sorry,
Yes.
no, not Kim
except
Cattrall.
for not Kim Cattrall because she went
Is a
psycho
whore.
on them. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
My wife tried to watch that, I think, last week while we were recording because, you know, she didn't have anything better to do. And I came out.
Better to do.
Yeah. Well, I came out during the
Nothing.
break. Nothing. Came out during the break and I was like, so how was Sex and the City? She's like, I couldn't even make it through a single episode. That show was so dumb. Why did people love it? And I was like,
And everybody loved it. Like it was a big deal.
Haven't seen a single episode.
So
Me
Opie,
neither.
you'll dig this one. Frasier is getting a reboot.
Yeah,
Not a reboot,
I did
but
hear about that. It's a
like an
continuation.
continuation.
Yeah,
Which
with
that
Kelsey.
could work. I think that could work with those actors because those are all talented actors. If the writing is
Yeah.
good, I could see it working. And I hope if they do it, they only do maybe a season or two. I don't want to drag on like the Connors or.
I wonder if it'll focus on Frasier and Lilith's son or something like that.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows what they'll do.
Like obviously Frasier will be there and Niles and everything, Daphne, because they're still all around. But the actor who played the dad passed away. So
He passed away.
And so did the dog.
Which,
the dog passed away during the show, and they had to get a different one.
They'll
I think the different one has
that.
passed away now too.
No, I'm sure it has. Yeah, that
Could you imagine they recast the dad?
Oh, they couldn't. They
couldn't. No, but can you imagine if that it's like, oh, I can't wait to see it, and they recast the dad. You're like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna be able to get past that. So
I don't think they would allow. I don't think Kelsey Grammer and all them would even allow it. They'd be like, it's like he's not in it. Like,
no, I had read something a while ago actually.
About, me too.
About it and they mentioned that they were gonna if they did that they would they'd have to acknowledge that kind of into the storyline kind of thing, obviously. So that could be good. I
love Frasier, man.
The next one that I don't have details about, and I don't know why. Again, this is another one. It's a big why. Is Designing Women. They're going to do a Designing Women reboot. Why would you?
Okay.
It's an 80s.
I feel like the target audience is too old nowadays.
Yeah.
Like
they better get it out quick because they're about to die.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a reboot, why? And if it's the same actors, then why?
Yeah.
I would doubt it's the same actors.
Actually, right now I'm wondering why are you getting these emails?
I get a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm on the Hollywood Reporter. They have a like a news feed, news email list.
Yeah.
And
I think you're on a lot of lists.
Yeah. I just get their emails all the time. Next up is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That one's getting a reboot.
Yeah.
And it's got the thumbs up. Yeah, but it got the thumbs up from Will Smith, I guess.
I heard something about that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did it right, if they got a really good cast and did it right, that one could probably work.
Yeah.
But why? Like, what? The thing is, if it's a reboot, then they're just retelling the story.
Yeah.
Maybe or maybe not.
Why is that story? It's like they're just calling it the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But it has nothing to do with anything about this. It's like, what's the point? Like, what? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, what's the point of retelling that particular story? Why don't you just call it something else?
Exactly. That's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith to me, and then it's just like
Rotten King of Hollywood.
Yeah. And then I have it on here, but everybody knows that it's coming as Blade. That's getting
with
for Marvel.
Mahershala.
Yeah. That should be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The next couple are for us 80s kids. The Wonder Years is getting a reboot.
No.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's been coming for a while. I don't know.
It's not a continuation. Oh, either way, it's like they should have left it as it was.
Yep. I think it's going to be. I think they're going to use the name and just tell different stories, which is okay, I guess. I mean, it shouldn't really be in the same time period. I mean, if you think about it, the Wonder Years when it came out was about, the Wonder Years of the people that were essentially adult age when that one came out. So that came out in the 80s, so it was the 60s, right? That's when the people were kids then. So if they did it now, maybe it's about the 80s. I don't know.
Who gives a shit then?
Exactly. And then Doogie Howser getting a reboot. So yeah. I was like, oh, okay, because that
I
is
was
even more
familiar
plausible
with
now.
it, but I never watched that show.
No, I didn't watch much of it either.
Isn't
I
it
saw
called
bits
Young
and pieces.
Sheldon?
It's just gonna be the sideshow. It's gonna be his buddy, some
no.
friend of his that's super genius. Another one that's getting rebooted was actually a really pretty decent show. I think it was on either USA or TNT, called The 4400. It was a sci-fi
Oh, yeah.
show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
it
gonna
was really
reboot
good.
it?
Yeah, apparently they're rebooting it.
That's
which is
not
kind of
an
a
old
bummer.
show.
Early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, it's at this point it's probably 15 years old.
At least. Yeah.
20.
Is it
maybe.
that old? Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was
Never
post
heard of it.
Lost.
No.
It wasn't
I think it was
post-Lost?
like contemporary.
It was
Yeah,
the
it
same
was-
time?
But it did not have a very good budget, if I remember correctly. They didn't
2004 to
really-
2007, so during Lost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, it didn't
definitely
have a-
wasn't high budget, but it was a
It
well
was
done
good.
show.
It was a well done show. We watched the whole thing. I liked it. It was a good
Mhm.
show. If
Yeah.
if the right company picked it up and put some money into it, like if Sci-Fi is going to do it, then
Then I'm out. They're gonna fuck
what's
it
the
up.
point? But
I don't
if,
watch anything sci-fi does.
No, but if one of the streaming houses is going to
They
pick
have
it
that
up,
that new show that I think looks really interesting, but I haven't watched it yet. The one with
Because it'll
Alan
get
Tudyk,
canceled after one season. Resident Alien.
Resident Alien.
yeah.
Yeah, because sci-fi will cancel it as soon as people start to like it. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
fucking hate
people
that network.
watching that show, but I haven't seen anyone raving about that show.
Resident Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
haven't really.
some decent
I've-
reviews of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people saying, "Oh, I'm watching it. It's okay." That's kind of what I've gotten.
All right. Well,
So
The next reboot that I've got is a show called Dark Shadows. Back
it's like a
in
vampire show.
back in the 60s or 70s, it was a vampire soap opera,
Yeah.
oh god.
and then in the 90s, maybe it's the very late 80s, they tried to reboot it as more of a series and less of a soap opera, and it didn't
Oh
take.
yeah, I
so-
watched that with my mom.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
so
like
did I.
her jam.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
exactly. That was the exact
Yeah.
same thing for me. I watched it with my mom because she liked it. So they're rebooting
Sure.
that, and it's already failed twice. So I'm not sure why they'd reboot it again. Like,
Vampires
We already
are
have
in, man.
We already have what we do in the shadows, man. We don't need more vampires.
yeah. If you want shitty vampires, just go watch Twilight. You're good.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it's going to be. It's probably going to be a Twilight, the TV show.
Probably close
So
to
they
that.
don't have to pay for the Twilight rights. They're going to go for
Yeah.
much cheaper.
And that one's an interesting one because if you did it on the right network, maybe you could do dark and gritty and make it interesting. The next reboot is animated, and it's not a reboot as much as it's a prequel, and that's Gremlins.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they-
like the tale of the Mogwai or something like
Yeah, it takes
Maybe
place
like Gizmo's origin story or something.
sort of, yeah. It's when the dude first meets Gizmo, I guess. The shop owner,
The old man or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ming-Na Wen signed on for it. It's actually got a pretty decent cast.
But you said it's animated,
Mhm. Yeah, it's
like
gonna be great.
traditional or like 3D or what are we talking?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think I think it's fairly traditional. I think I've seen a picture of it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Um,
I'd
another
have to
one
see
that
a
they're
trailer before I signed on to that one.
yeah.
Mhm.
Another one that I
I'm
thought
gonna
was
need
be
a couple
reboot.
minutes to see before I really
Soak it
commit
up.
any time to this.
The next
Send over a couple scenes.
one that I thought was a reboot, but it's actually going to be a sequel, which I think might be worse, is Face Off.
Yeah, I heard about that a couple days ago,
A sequel?
With the
sequel.
original
Yeah.
actors.
and I think they're coming
Yep.
back. Travolta
Yep.
and
Oh.
Cage. Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
did
don't know
see
if
that.
anyone's watched that. It does not hold up particularly well. The acting in it is atrocious.
See,
It's Nicolas
love
Cage.
I was gonna say it's
I
Nick
loved it,
Cage
but-
trying to act like John Travolta and then vice versa. So it's
I
just
do
like,
remember
what the
one of them
fuck?
definitely doing a much better job than the other, acting like the other. I couldn't remember which
I
one.
think Travolta does a pretty decent job in that movie, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Well, he's the
than-
better actor, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes more sense.
it's just I just remember at the time like they're both doing okay at it, but one's definitely doing better.
Yeah. And then,
But why? Jesus.
Why
They just
not?
had well, now they have the actual fucking technology to do it.
Yeah.
They
right?
do that deep fake, and like you ever see like when Bill Hader they did I saw it on they did on the Conan. I see on YouTube I saw this. He's on Conan and he's telling the story about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his face. He looks just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They deep fake it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yep.
And de-age them at the same time. Take a couple
Right.
years off. They don't even have to show up. They don't have to fucking be there because they're not going to
Animate
use
the
their
whole
bodies now.
Yeah.
That's going to be animated too.
The last time I saw a John Travolta photo, he did not look svelte anymore.
He did that
No.
Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
mean
didn't pay attention to those.
he's a thick fella. He's bald with a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it works. They'll give him a trainer, give him 4 months, and he'll look like
And a
Ben
time
Affleck.
machine.
he'll look like Ben
Yeah.
Affleck in Batman vs Superman.
Right.
What a stunning physique that man had in that movie. I know
They
Kevin
cannot-
loved it.
No, I want to
Yeah.
know
I
what
wish he'd
the
choke
plot
on those
is
chains that he was using.
where they're going to
Some
have
BDSM
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, years later have some situation where they have to deal with switching faces again.
Right.
Like the last time we did this, I couldn't smell for a week.
Didn't the bad guy die?
I
In
forgot
that
that
movie?
movie.
Yeah.
I can't
do not
remember, but I thought he died.
Yeah, and then they had to do like the emergency. They had to like try and keep him
Oh,
alive
shit.
long enough to do the face transplant
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
But I think he
no,
doesn't survive the other
No,
side.
apparently he does.
No, yeah, we'll find out.
Apparently
That
he
he did.
does.
And he's been in a secret,
Yep.
secret government facility.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he
Just
survived or
escaped.
not.
Jesus.
Probably froze his body for no reason.
You know what, Alex? Why don't you go ahead and give it a quick look-see, and next week
Face
you can
Off?
tell us.
I'd
if
actually
he,
love to watch that movie again. I haven't seen it in years. I remember liking it a lot when I was younger because
Yeah, same here. Same
it
here.
was just a bunch of explosions and gunfights and
Should we all watch it by next week?
I watched it within the last year with my daughter.
Okay.
He said
Did not
it didn't hold up.
Not for me. No, I thought there was some bad parts to it. We were making fun of like the face thingy for like
Yeah.
Oh, that's
weeks.
right.
For
God,
I have-
weeks we
I-
were making fun of
that was
that.
stupid.
I haven't seen it since the theater.
But that,
Yeah.
in defense of that didn't hold up in the theater. Like,
Well,
that
yeah,
was
but
so
at the
stupid.
time, you didn't have, you saw the initial preview. You didn't have a lot to choose from in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
No, I enjoyed the movie. I'm just talking about the hand to the face thing. Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
I even like the first time I watched it, I was like, that was fucking stupid.
Cringy. And then like the John Woo Doves part of the
Yeah.
film.
Yes.
is so over the top and unnecessary. And I understood that it was his calling card and he had to like
Mhm.
shoehorn it in there somehow, but it did not fit. And it looked so ridiculous. Like when it happened, my daughter was like, what in the fuck? Why is that happening? And I was like, let me tell you about John Woo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Time for a
Who's-
history lesson. Gather
Who's-
round, children.
Who's directing this one?
I don't know. Probably Michael Bay.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
if they want it to work.
That's his kind of film, you know.
Yeah, this is right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he has access to the CGI he's gonna need.
Yep.
Aging
Well,
fat actors, I got
Yeah.
experience with
Oh
that.
my god, I can make him transform. You tell me what you need.
Yeah.
Let me show you the recent
Yeah.
Bad Boys.
John Travolta
All
turns
right.
into a car.
Yeah, this face off, man. The face just transforms. Just the face.
But it takes like
Face Off
15
Transformers
seconds.
crossover.
Yeah, and it makes that sound.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next one, the trailer actually just dropped for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, baby.
So that reboot's coming. That one actually should be okay.
It looks
what
like
it
the
is.
stupidest kind of fun, and I'm all here
Yeah.
for it.
It does look like the stupidest kind of fun. And
I haven't
think
seen
if
the
we go into it
preview.
with
I
that,
remember the first one, but I haven't seen the preview.
The first one honestly shit all over what those games actually are, even just by being PG-13, because they're like the most violent games in the world.
Yeah.
So at least they're embracing that this time. Like the Red Band trailer is ridiculous.
Is this one just an hour and a half of watching someone play the game?
No, it has some dumb looking backstory for this main character that doesn't matter at all. It's like it's conjecture to get to them punching each other in the dick for an hour and a half, and that's all I care about.
Yep.
The fights look cool. The costumes actually look really good.
Yeah.
Like Sub-Zero and Scorpion actually look pretty cool. I'm excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love the original movie, man. I watched the crap out of that thing when I was a kid.
I love the soundtrack.
I
The
still
soundtrack
watch
was my
it from
favorite,
time to
dude.
time because it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
The fight choreography in that is surprisingly okay for the time that it was made.
Yeah.
Like even if you watch it
it's
now,
not
you're
bad.
like, it's not about like there's a couple of fights like Liu Kang versus Reptile always stands out to me as like the choreography here is pretty dope. Like it holds up. There's some other ones that are really bad, but a lot of them are good.
Yeah.
I worked at a movie theater when that movie came out, and that was everyone's favorite theater to clean because everyone would clean out, and then it was just techno music for like 12 minutes, and so we just
because the
like,
credits
swept through
Yeah.
so quickly. It's always the cleanest theater.
You're just all like fucking hyped up.
Yeah, we cleaned the theater except for Craig. He'd be up front with the lights, just fucking turned on his own private rave.
Just glow bracelets.
No, that would actually happen. People would start dancing with their brooms and stuff.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
All right.
So I have fond memories of the original Mortal Kombat. So I will definitely see this one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's dumbest kind of fun.
So I got two more.
Oh,
One for the Schwarzenegger fans. I just heard in the last couple of days that Edgar
Pumping
Wright.
Iron. He's redoing Pumping Iron.
oh no.
You already
The
mentioned
Running
Conan. Is he doing? He's redoing Conan?
That'd be
Conan
awesome.
now?
Yeah,
The retired years.
the bloater years. Edgar Wright is rebooting Running Man,
Oh,
so that's going to get
Okay.
remade.
Running Man is one of my favorites. It is classic cheesy Schwarzenegger.
Well,
it's
it'll be
just
interesting
filled with those
because
awful one-liners. Oh, that movie's so great.
Edgar Wright's really good. So I'm
I love Edgar
and
Wright.
and I'm sure he's going to hold more tightly to the story because it's a Stephen King story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Stephen King story. But I
Mhm.
think Edgar Wright can probably infuse his humor into it in
Right.
such a way that it
Right.
that it still works.
What else has Edgar Wright done that I'd know?
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. He did Scott Pilgrim. Wait, is that him?
sorry.
That is him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
A
And
couple
a
of
bunch
things,
of other shit.
Are they getting Richard Dawson back? Oh, he's dead. Never mind. That's too bad.
And then the last one on my list here takes us back full circle, and they are going to reboot Criminal Minds.
Ooh, why?
I don't know. I don't know why they're doing half of these. I can't answer that question for you. But Criminal Minds was like, for me, was a show that I never watched like regularly. But whenever I'd go to my wife's aunt's house, they would always have, because she only had cable, she didn't have streaming. And somebody was always doing a Criminal Minds like marathon. And I'd catch like episodes here and there. And it was a good show. Like it was a good, but I mean, I couldn't watch it now. It was like 18 seasons or something like that.
Jesus.
It
and
didn't
it
even
just-
end all that long ago.
It just ended like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're going to reboot it. Okay.
It just ended. Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
encore.
think-
We watched many years. I think like 10 or 11 years of that show.
Jesus Christ.
And it started with Mandy Patinkin in it. And
Mhm.
we were
Yeah.
like, it's got Mandy Patinkin. I mean, we
Yeah,
gotta
you gotta
watch
watch.
it. So we watched it. And then at some point, Mandy was like, this show's too dark. I'm getting the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
And he leaves. And we were like, oh, Mandy left. But we've come this far. And so we kept watching it. And then it finally got to this point where we were like, we hate this show. Why the fuck are we still watching it?
It was like
We were just,
CSI
like,
when Gil
done.
Grissom,
We just
you're
walked
like,
away.
why, you got the
Yeah,
heart
it
of the
wasn't.
show.
I feel like it wasn't on that long ago. It's like that show's being rebooted quicker than Stranger Things is coming out with their 4th season.
Right.
Yeah.
And rebooted faster than Batman.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well,
pretty hard.
Batman gets rebooted every like 6-7 months. So
Yeah.
I did double check it. I didn't want to say beforehand in case I was wrong, but Edgar Wright also did the Shaun of the Dead trilogy, right? So like,
That's
Oh.
right. Hot
Oh, that was
Fuzz.
him.
That's right. Yeah.
and World's
okay.
End, as well as Baby Driver. So he's done a lot of really excellent stuff.
good to know. Wow, that's quite the list to not look forward to.
Yeah, there's a couple of winners in there.
There's a
and
couple
lot of
things in
losers.
there that sound fine, but there's
I'm
a
excited
lot
for Mortal
like
Kombat.
designing women. I mean,
Come on.
Come
Where's the
on.
Golden Girls? I wanna
that
see
would
the
probably
get
have
Betty
a lot
White.
more traction. Yeah, especially if
They
Betty
should
White was in it.
redo. They should redo Different Strokes and Facts of Life.
Oh yeah, I think Different Strokes would really hold up.
They should do a shot-for-shot remake. Because they haven't done that yet. They've done that with a movie. They've done shot-for-shot remakes of movies, but they haven't done a shot-for-shot remake of a show. They should pick one like that. That'd be hilarious.
The A-Team,
The
18
No.
would be funny.
Airwolf.
Oh my God, Airwolf.
I loved Airwolf as a kid. I'm sure
So
that
did I,
show does
dude.
not hold up
Oh,
like
no.
anywhere close. But
The Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty
that was
cheesy.
great.
Yeah.
Alex is sitting back going, I heard of these shows. Once Upon a Way and Back.
No, he hasn't.
I'm just fucking daydreaming right now.
So do we take the time to actually talk about the Snyder Cut trailer? Or do we just kick Opie out and talk about WandaVision?
I think we could probably save Wanda for next week, and we'll just batch the two
Yeah, that'll work.
together. Because I feel like, I don't want to say too much, but I feel like this was kind of a setup episode anyway for some crazy things that are about to happen. So
That's true.
I feel like we could kind of group them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like this one answered a couple of questions,
Oh yeah.
and that
for
was
sure.
about it. And some of the questions were pretty cool, and then some I thought were like, oh, well, I was hoping for a better answer than that. That one was kind of lame.
Yeah.
So a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
man.
There's our
There's our spoiler-free review.
review.
Just
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I likely will not remember that.
We probably won't either.
Yeah. So, you know what? I think we'll have to hold off on the Snyder Cut review trailer till next week.
It's just
I mean,
inevitably.
it's midnight here, so I'm pretty beat, and I know Kevin. You're like
3:02 in the morning.
3:02.
So I think you know if we had a few minutes, then I'd say yeah, but no, I think we need to go because that will take us clear into like it's midnight
5
now.
a.m. for
Yeah,
Kevin.
exactly.
Yeah.
We get to 3:02 for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
We'd be halfway
basically.
through Wonder Woman 1984 before we realized that we just killed the last 4 hours.
Yep.
Oh God.
So we'll hold on off till maybe next week.
I still see like reaction videos on YouTube to Wonder Woman 84, like a new
I
one
have not
every
watched-
day.
I haven't watched any. Are they
They're
good?
all the same.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, they're like all of them are like that. I haven't seen a single one defending it, which makes total sense because it's a fucking pile of shit. But like,
Turn back, Alex. Turn
No,
back.
help! I've fallen down the DC chasm.
Yeah. I mean, that is some
Quick, end it
quicksand.
before he does it again.
That is some quicksand.
Oh,
That's an
gosh.
attractive siren that got you.
Speaking of which, speaking of DC,
No, just-
Uh-oh. What are you doing?
this is a real thing. So after I watched Gotham,
I know. Okay.
I still wanted to kind of be in the DC universe, but I had watched like most of the other shows like Arrow and Flash, not all the way, but like I watched enough of them to be like, well, I don't want to go back to those. So And I think I watched this too. Now, actually, after I watched it a second time, I'm like, I think I've seen this, but I watched the first episode of Supergirl, and
I've never seen it.
I won't be going any farther.
That's a CW show, right?
It's a CBS show. No, the first season is CBS.
That's right. It was CBS, and then they eventually got bought by CW after, and they did the merger, right?
No, they canceled it. So CW picked it up. And then officially tied it into their stuff. Yeah.
The Crisis on Infinite. But the only reason I did it is because I saw the trailer for Superman and Lois, and I was like, I kind of might want to watch that, but I know it looks like it shows up in Supergirl first, and that's where his backstory is. It's like, maybe I'll try. I'm not going to try. No,
he is for what it's worth. He's one of the better iterations of Superman that I've seen in a long time. And because Cavill's is like super dark, and it works for Henry Cavill because he's
it does.
dreamy and all that.
Hell yeah, it does.
You're not going to talk anything about HC, are you?
If I start talking about it, we'll all be drooling. But this guy is like a lighter, like
the Snyder Cut trailer.
Yeah.
we haven't even admitted it.
Now, the guy from Superman and Lois is a very lighthearted, like uplifting, positive Superman, which you haven't seen since probably like Christopher Reeve, really. Like
what about Dean Cain?
What about Dean Cain?
We try.
He actually cameos as the adopted dad from Supergirl. I was like, oh, it's Dean Cain, and he says no lines.
Their adopted mom is Supergirl from the movies, or from the movie.
Oh my god!
From which one?
Supergirl. The movie.
Okay. That came out in
the
like
monstrosity
the 80s or whatever
with
it was.
Mia Farrow. Yeah. We watched that not too long ago, actually. Horrible.
Anyways, I wanted to just get us off track real quick before we ended it.
Yeah. Thanks for
Supergirl.
that, Dick. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. So Supergirl, DC, stay away from it. Yeah, we got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
We're done, right?
Let's just stop.
I forgot we're ending the show, and that's what happened when you take us on a tangent. I'm like, what were we talking about? Because we got off tangent on the
We were talking about leaving. Let's continue.
We're talking about not talking about DC. That's what happened. And Alex. So hey, I just found this one little tote of Coke, just a little one, just a little.
Yeah, man, just take a puff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
feels good.
What are you scared? All right. Well, if you're still listening to this, like I say at the end of every episode, thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening, and obviously, after listening to this, you should probably tell all your friends and family. This is something they don't want to miss out on, especially next week when we finally get to that Snyder Cut preview.
And, will we have producer Pete back next week? I
don't know. No, he said he's in February. He's on high. Man. Yeah. Well, he's like, I'm going to take time off till March. I don't remember getting that request in. He's just like, I'm going to.
You don't have enough vacation hours for that, sir.
Yeah, I don't know how you get that got past HR, but
February's just hairy for me. I need to.
If we push next week's recording to Sunday, it would be March, and then
still the 28th. Still the 28th.
Is it? Oh, god damn it! It's gone past midnight. I looked at the date.
So goddamn, this is a calendar from 1988.
How the fuck does time work?
Why do I have a hanging calendar in here anyway?
Notice we still haven't ended the show.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Just stop listening if you're still listening.
Are you still listening to this?
Stop.
Pete didn't already fade us out?
Go away.
I thought he faded us out by now.
No. He just looks at the audio waveform, and as soon as it stops, then he's like, cut, print. Like,
paste in ending music. Let that play out for 5 minutes after the show ends. And then... All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Is this the week we actually get to that Snyder Cut?
We can.
I mean, now that the actual trailer is out. I mean, before we were just going to talk about the teaser for the trailer. And now that it's out, I don't even know how much was everything in the trailer new?
It seemed like a lot of it was.
Okay. Because I blocked most of the movie out, so I couldn't remember if any of it was stuff I'd already seen.
I never even saw it, so. And
Part of me actually really wants to rewatch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
yeah. I mean, I guess I'm more curious than really anxious to watch it. You know, I think just because I've already done it. I mean, I can't imagine them making it worse. That's the one thing. It's like I can't. I mean, unless Michael Bay came aboard, I don't think he can make that movie worse.